The next movie I saw was Get On Up. I am a huge James Brown fan. I always appreciated his music, and always appreciated James Brown as a artist. Who that guy was one of the hardest working men in show business. That well, I mean, he got that nickname for a fucking reason. Um, he earned it, honestly. If I could watch the energy that guy had, it was amazing. Like, would watch old footage and I'm like, God damn, I don't know how anybody could have that much energy. Um, and he also had some really fucking great songs. I mean, I've grown to appreciate James Brown as a musician. So obviously, when I heard they were making a James Brown biopic, when I saw the trailer for it, I was like, all right, fuck yeah, I'm gonna see this movie. And it's starring the guy who played Jackie Robinson in uh, the 42 movie, and I thought he was really good in that, and I said I could get behind that. And it's being directed by the guy who made The Help. All right, nothing can go wrong here, really. I mean, this has all the ingredients to be a pretty damn good movie, I think. I wrote on my Facebook earlier after I saw both movies. I said I said I won't say what I thought of each movie yet, but I'll say this: one movie I loved, one I was really disappointed by. Guess what? I was really disappointed by this movie. I'm not saying this is a terrible movie. It isn't. It's a rental. But this movie's getting pretty damn good reviews, but I don't think it's getting a little too much high praise. This movie, it's not like I said, it's not terrible. It's just okay, I guess, is the way it's meh territory. It's nothing I would recommend going to the theaters seeing, especially at the prices there. You have to go see movies nowadays. The one thing I can give praise to this movie, I'll get into why I didn't like this movie as much as I thought it would. Um, one thing that I can praise about this movie, and I will not, say anything bad about this part, is fucking Chadwick Boseman. That guy embodied James Brown to a T. He had him down pat. His mannerisms, his voice, everything. He definitely could tell he put a lot of work into studying James Brown and everything, and he looked. It felt like I was watching James Brown on the screen, honestly, in a lot of parts. Even though he doesn't look that much like James Brown, he definitely did a really good job, and he definitely probably will get some Oscar consideration come Oscar season, which I have no problem with. This kid's a very good actor. I have high expectations for his future. Honestly, even with just that, I can't even just James Brown. Here, how I'm going to start getting to my problems with this movie is that while James Brown or Chadwick Boseman's great, I can't really name any other performance that was memorable because almost every fucking character in this movie is fucking forgettable, or I almost actually forgot even existed. And that's sad because you got a lot of fucking talented people in this movie. Viola Davis, Craig Robinson, Octavia Spencer, Dan Aykroyd. Fucking really talented people. Used very, used in a really horrible way. Not used to their great potential. I mean, especially fucking Viola Davis. Viola Davis, you see, if you watch the trailers, you think this movie's gonna be a lot about how, James Brown was abandoned by his mother, and it's, played up a lot in the trailers. And honestly, all the scenes you see in the trailer are exactly the scenes that you see in the fucking movie. She's in this movie for less than 15 minutes. No fucking joke. Viola fucking Davis, a really talented actress who deserves a hell of a lot better than this, being in the movie for fucking 15 minutes. I understand that James Brown probably, I don't know what the true story is about his mother and whatever, but like literally, you get an introduction like through flashbacks of his mother, um, about about 15 minutes into this movie, actually probably 5 minutes into this movie, and then like a couple scenes later, like literally the scene after you get introduced to her, she's leaving him basically right after the scene you get introduced to her. So like, okay, that's kind of jarring. Like, fuck, like, like you don't really get any character development with this fucking person, and you know, I just, I just didn't really care. And then like she don't pop up until like an hour into the movie, later into the movie, where that scene where James Brown's told by his buddy that his mom's here to see him while he's performing. I think I don't know if it's the Apollo. I forget what it is. And she comes backstage, and then the scene cuts as soon as she walks into the doorway, and you're like, okay, and it cuts to something else, like another scene, and you're like, so is there gonna be no resolution to that story? Like an hour goes by, and I'm like, is there gonna be ever any resolution to that story at all? Like, seriously. And then fucking hour later, about an hour, almost a half hour before the movie's fucking over, they cut back to that scene out of nowhere. Like literally out of fucking nowhere, it just comes back to that scene, and you know, we finally get a resolution. I'm like, fuck, Viola Davis deserves a hell lot better than this. I just sitting there like, you know, what the fuck? Like, other than James Brown, the only character that actually was maybe a little bit fleshed out was his buddy, was Bobby Bird. I might be getting that wrong. I know his last name is Bird because he kept calling him Bird throughout the whole damn movie. But yeah, he's the only one that's really other than James Brown that's a fleshed out character, because none of them is given enough fucking screen time to where you could give a shit about any of them. Like Craig Robinson pops in and out. I almost forget that he's fucking in the movie. He's like one of his bandmates, and like he pops in every so often, and like at one point he's having conflict with James Brown, but I don't fucking know why. Thanks, movie. It would help to maybe know why. I mean, I guess if you know all of James Brown's history, you would know, but if you don't, you're gonna be fucking lost. That's my problem. My main problem with this movie is that this movie's a fucking jumbled mess. Is that it goes all over the place with the timeline, like the timeline of his career, like from the span of his childhood to, like, I think maybe the late 80s, 90s, where I think he's playing Apollo. Is he playing? God damn it! I keep thinking it's Apollo, but I might be wrong on that. At the end, I forget where he's playing at the end of the movie. They might have said maybe it was Augusta, Georgia. It might have been. But this movie just jumps all over the fucking place, like, and I think the reason why I had a problem with this is like this movie in a short span of time tries to cover way too much of his career, like tries to cover almost his whole fucking career, really, it seems like. And the movie's only 2 hours and 20 minutes, and there's only so much you can cover, and there's so much you gotta cut out. And this movie cuts out, I think, key things that, unless you know, or James Brown historian, you're gonna be fucking lost. Like, at one point he's married to a woman, and then I still assumed like an hour into the movie, he's still married to this woman, and then there's a scene where they introduce like a backup singer, and it's hinted at like, oh, James Brown's gonna sleep with her. Like they keep messing with her, like his backup singers or his bandmates are messing around saying, oh, you know, James Brown's gonna probably hit that. I'm not really quoting there, but he and like like they literally give this girl an introduction, so you expect like she's gonna be like somebody that causes his marriage into disarray, but no. The next scene is where this backup singer is singing with James Brown and the band, and next thing you know, James Brown's just married to the next scene after that. James Brown's married to another woman that was not the same woman from the couple scenes ago, about an hour ago. So I'm like, wait a minute. So he's not married to that same woman, now he's married to this woman? I'm like, when the fuck did that happen? And now they have both, like, him and this woman have kids too? How the fuck did that happen? Like, when did, like, the span of time in this movie is just not fucking clear. Like, sometimes. And then there's also just random shit in this movie that could easily be cut out. Really could have easily be cut out. Like the opening scene where James Brown goes into an insurance company that's right next to a company he owns. This is a great scene, I'll say that. The opening scene for this movie is really funny. He goes to this insurance company that's next door to his own company in Augusta, Georgia. I didn't know this happened. This is a pretty funny story, though. And he walks in with a shotgun, like, and of course the people in this insurance company are freaking the fuck out because James Brown's coming in their building with a fucking shotgun. The only reason he's doing that is because somebody took a crap in his company's toilet that works for the insurance company. So he's trying to find out who, and he just shoots a hole in the ceiling, and that's it. And of course, he gets arrested for that. I was like, I don't remember hearing that. That's like when he's older. It's like 1988 when that happened, which is really funny. It is a very funny scene. I'll give it that. But then you're like told that only happened because he basically had a drug problem that just gets introduced in the last like 15 minutes. I remember people telling me a lot, like, as I don't know much about his history, like, as a musician. I know his music, I love his music, but they told me, like, oh yeah, he had a real bad drug problem. Well, you wouldn't know if you watched this fucking movie, because this movie just tells you he smoked pot one time, went to an insurance company, shot a shotgun, that's that. He didn't have any drug problem. It's... From what you learn from this movie, it's kind of hard to explain. Like, just this movie's all over the place. It'll go to like 1988, and then it'll go to 1930 something, and then it'll go to 1968. Then it'll go back to 1988. Then it'll go back to seriously. That's what this movie does. It jumps all over the fucking place and puts stuff in there that doesn't need to be there. Like I said, that scene. Where he's in the insurance company, really had no point in being there. You could easily cut that out. You cut the scene where he goes to Vietnam. There's no point in that. I know they only put that in there because that's one of the most famous things he did. And they also have a scene where randomly, you'll have a scene where it's like a comedy scene, and then the next scene is Martin Luther King is killed. So James Brown wants to still play in Boston, and the mayor of Boston doesn't want him to, but he insists on doing it. And I know that's one of his most famous things he's ever done, and I know that was a big deal. I understand that, it's fine. But, it easily could be cut out. I know they only put it in there just because it's something he famously did. And also, apparently he was a wife abuser, because he abuses his wife a couple times in this movie, but that's never mentioned again. Like, this movie's, like, totally, it's all over the fucking place, too. Like, because of, like, how jarring the timeline in this movie is, it's all over the fucking place, the tone. Like I said, it's weird me bitching about all this. I still kind of do recommend seeing it, like, but for a rental, like I said. Mainly because of Chadwick Boseman's portrayal as James Brown. And that's it. And there are, like I said, there are a couple funny scenes here and there, but honestly, I was kind of bored too. Um, I don't think it's just because I saw it late. That was the second movie I saw, and I was really high off seeing Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't think it's just that. I think it's just the movie wasn't very good. Wasn't that great. I was really disappointed. Really, really disappointed. I'm a huge James Brown fan. You know, I wish it was. I could sing this movie's praises, but I can't. I really can't. I know I'm probably going to be called fucking racist. I have a feeling I will, because, no joke, I did a review for The Butler back in September, and somebody basically called me everything but racist because I didn't like the movie, and they thought it was the greatest movie ever made, and I thought it was just okay. Honestly, that's pretty much what I feel about this one, but I will say I like this movie better than the fucking Butler, but this person like basically tried to tell me, oh, you don't understand what the blacks went through, even though in my review I did talk about how I was ashamed of what white people did. Fucking people don't watch my reviews apparently. Idiots. I'm sure there'll be some asshole will call me a racist or whatever. It's not because I'm white. I like James Brown. I do. I absolutely do. I appreciate the hell, and I still love James Brown. Well, always will, because he was a really good musician. Also, want to say I like the kid who played Little Richard. He was pretty good. That was a pretty good. That kid bodied Little Richard pretty well. Kind of looked like him a little bit in some scenes, but that was kind of cool. I mean, there's a lot of people. There's guys that are playing the Rolling Stone. They didn't really look too much like their real counterparts, but whatever. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I wish I could be higher saying really good things about this movie, but I can't. I'm sorry. If you like the movie, good for you. I'm not telling you your opinion's wrong or anything. Just don't call me fucking racist about it either. Just because I didn't like it. Just because it's a movie by a black artist doesn't, and I'm white, and I didn't like it, doesn't mean I'm fucking racist. Fucking idiots. I hate people on the internet. Fucking idiots on the internet. I mean, I haven't had too many trolls on the internet. I didn't get really any new trailers except one, which was Beyond the Lights, which is a movie from the director of Love and Basketball, which I never saw, but I never really cared to watch it. And it's about a pop singer that's wanting to commit suicide, but stopped by a police officer, and they fall in love. Yada yada yada, whatever. Not my thing anyway, so I whatever. But yeah, there's not much else to talk about. Go see Guardians of the Galaxy. Get on up when it comes out on DVD. That's basically it. I'll be back next week. The fucking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. God damn it. I was like, fuck. We're usually August is a horrible month for me, as I've had a lot of bad stuff happen for me, and usually this is always a bad month for movies. And I was like, all right, this month's starting off really strong with these two movies, but it's gonna go downhill from here. I have a feeling with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Expendables 3, Sin City. I'm hoping Sin City's good. I don't know. I don't have high expectations going to. I have zero expectations going into the Turtles, and I'm gonna only go see it because I'm a Turtles fan. Maybe this movie will shock me, will blow me away. Weirder things have happened, but I don't see it happening. Also, I'll try to do a review sometime this week of Sharknado 2. I'm gonna try to get a review in sometime for Winter's Tale, and also Begin Again. That one of Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley, which is at my movie theater, but I haven't gotten around to seeing it yet. I'll try to get a review for all those sometime in the near future, hopefully this week. But until then, I'll talk to you guys